And right now we will go to Suresh Kochetil. Your opening remark to this, sir.
I think Mr. Pandian was a target of ridicule by BJP. Who said that the Tamilian is going to be politics. I mean that is something that actually hit campaign hard for BJD. One is Naveen Patnaik's health itself was an element of doubt. Mr. Modi even announced that there would be an inquiry by a team of doctors to investigate the health of Mr. Naveen Patnaik. The second being the role of Mr. Pandian, because when he was announced as the heir apparent, basically there were a lot of kind of murmurs in the background in BJD as to how could you take somebody who's not from Odisha, even though he served in Odisha for a long time, and then bring him in as a successor. Um, Mamata Banerjee doesn't have this problem because she has Abhishek Banerjee. Same with Mayawati, who also doesn't depend on any direct descendant. But the problem is very simple. So how do you run a state like Odisha, which has a long tenure of one of the longest tenures ever by Naveen Patnaik, and he doesn't have anybody to follow? This is what happens with family parties. The family-run parties are not cadre-based parties, and leaders don't come from within. If you look at BJP, for example, BJP, Communist, I think these are only 2 or 3 parties which have cadres. Others are all family-run parties, where the line of succession is very clear. I mean, no matter who you might be, Rahul Gandhi will take over, and after Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka will take over. After Priyanka, their kids will take over. So there's no chance for an outsider to enter the arena and do anything.
Right.
So
Right,
that is
Mr.
what it is.
Kochetil, I'm extremely sorry. I will come back to you and let you finish that thought. Right now, we also have Kartikeya Sharma joining us from the newsroom. Kartikeya, was this something we were expecting, especially after you had also spoken to Tathagat, who had made all his comments with regards to making a reference to, in fact, VK Pandian, with regards to what had been happening in Odisha politically. Do you think this was an expected move at this point?
VK Pandian in an interview to me a month ago had said that he would quit active politics if Naveen Babu loses. Now VK Pandian had to quit not because Naveen Babu lost, but because Naveen Babu lost one heavily. Out of 21 seats, 20 seats were won by Bharatiya Janata Party. Secondly, insider and outsider issue had tanked BJD in the 21 years of in power. And VK Pandian himself, Kartikeya Pandian, became an issue. He's a Tamil officer married to an Odia officer. He has stayed all for 20 years. But what has happened over a period of time was that all the political actors were purged out of BJD. So VK Pandian had emerged as a very important person in the affair. But then in Odia politics, the whole issue was that how come one person who came from outside is deciding everything on behalf of Naveen Patnaik. And BJD was not formed by Naveen Babu. BJD was formed by Biju Patnaik. It's Biju Patnaik's party. Other political parties, other political players were there. And Naveen Babu consolidated himself as son of Biju Patnaik. He was requested to lead the party. Let me put this on record. Now, when he's requested to lead the party, he led. But then the consolidation of Mr. Pandian on the realm of affair was so much that the other people started resenting it. So I think what is happening is that the bureaucrat turn politician, he couldn't cut ice, and I think he has paid the ultimate sacrifice for his master. I think I'll give that mark to Mr. VK Pandian. He could have stayed, fought, divided the party, but he didn't do that. He has called it quits. I mean, for 20 years, an exemplary career in Odisha. And it's a bit of a disgrace that he's leaving because he was the star campaigner. And Naveen Babu had to accommodate the concerns in the end, by which he said, he's not my successor. But VK Pandian Odisha behaved like number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. His department called 5T was a super department, and every ministry had to cooperate. So obviously the political interest went against him. So, and it happens. When powerful leaders create very politically lightweight but bureaucratically empowered number 2, this is what happens. It happened with Jayalalitha. After Jayalalitha's demise, look what has happened to ADMK. It's nowhere. And BJD now, in Naveen Babu is alive, but then he's too old. Who will lead the party is anyone's business. But Naveen Babu had always operated through VK Pandian. 20 years, it's a long association. And he defended him yesterday. But I think the damage has been done. It's a political damage. And someone had to pay the price. And the closest confidant of Naveen Patnaik has paid the price. And that's the price you pay in politics. Because when you had power, you ran the system. And now the consequence of losing the power is that you have to you were sacrificed at the altar of it, and that's politics.
Right, Kartikeya. In fact, at this point, would it also be safe to assume, or rather say, that there was enough pressure building internally within the party for VK Pandian to having, taken this step?
Oh, there was a lot of pressure. I mean, so if you're talking about pressure, let me tell you, the pressure was intense. The pressure was intense because who will take the blame? Naveen Patnaik was called to work after Biju Babu passed away. So Naveen Patnaik had all the privileges. Mr. Pandian became his number two. And when Pandian became number two, the consolidation and the purging happened. Who's Tathagat Satpathy? Tathagat Satpathy is son of Nandini Satpathy. When Biju Babu was in Congress, Nandini Satpathy was appointed Chief Minister of Odisha by Mrs. Gandhi. So he was the four-time MP, one-time MLA, a dynast. But nonetheless, he felt that politically is not being accommodated. So there must have been multiple political families who felt less accommodated, and they must have not worked. And for this reason that they left. I think it's an important development that has taken place in Odisha. But one has to wait and see who is going to be the real successor to Naveen Babu. Because the successor to Naveen Babu has to be a political person now, not a bureaucrat anymore.
Right, Kartikeya. In fact, as we do speculate on who will succeed Naveen Babu in the BJD, I think there is also quite a big gap and a hole that's being left out with VK Pandian leaving. Who do you think might be filling in that role at this point?
VK Pandian was a bureaucrat for the last 3 years running the party. I don't think BJD is bereft of talent. It's not a gaping hole. It's just that Mr. Patnaik will have to sublet his power to the political people. He subletted his power to an important ex-bureaucrat. He will have to now actually fall back on the original cadre and original political families that constituted BJD. He will have to do what happened in 1997. Politics is done by political people. Bureaucrats are welcome. But it is like this. If tomorrow in Prime Minister Modi's cabinet, Mr. Jaishankar becomes number two, Jaishankar might be the best foreign affairs minister India had. But can you say that Jaishankar can organize an election campaign in any state? No, obviously not. That's not his forte. His forte is somewhere else. And I think that's where the mistake was done by Naveen Babu.
Kartikeya, in fact, if we just go back a little and also can sum up for our viewers out there with regards to what all went wrong and against VK Pandian at this point, with the recent comment, or rather remark, coming in from one of their former MPs itself, how are we looking at the entire role of the Parikrama project, and as well as, as Tathagat had said, that it was VK Pandian who had been calling the shots towards the end, and no longer him just being
Parikrama
associated.
project, other things, Shriya, they matter a little, they could have, it's like Ayodhya project. You have added local miseries, you have consolidated local miseries. That is one thing. But the larger thing was concentration of power. Larger thing was inability to read that the BJP has made inroads. Larger thing was that the young candidates or the young people were not with the BJD. They were not able to move with times. That was the larger issue. So if we play the bite of VK Pandian, if we have the bite, Shriya, 4 minutes 52-second bite, I think that makes it all clear. We must play the bite if, Shriya, you have that.
Definitely. We do have that reaction, or rather the video message that's been posted out by VK Pandian out there, wherein he's declared that yes, he is quitting active politics. But we will just play that out shortly for our viewers out there. But Kartikeya, do stay with us right now. In fact, as you just mentioned about the response, let's just quickly go and look at the video message that's been sent by VK Pandian, that's been released by VK Pandian.
I came to Odisha. From the day I set my foot in the soil of Odisha, I have received immense love and affection from the people of Odisha. From Dharamgarh to Rourkela to Mayurbhanj to Ganjam, I have tried to work very hard for the people. 12 years ago, I joined the Chief Minister's office. It was an honor to be working for Shri Naveen Patnaik. The experience, the learning I had from him is for lifetimes. His grace, leadership, ethics, And above all, his love for the people of Odisha always inspired me. His expectation from me was to implement his vision for Odisha, and we successfully crossed many milestones in health, education, poverty reduction, sports, investment, women's empowerment, infrastructure, and also in temple and heritage projects. Working for the youth, school and college children gave me great satisfaction. My own childhood memories of studying in a government school helped me to implement the Honorable Chief Minister's vision for school transformation under 5T. During COVID, we traveled to almost all 30 districts to ensure that the health infrastructure is ready to serve the people. In this time, we faced two super cyclones, Fani and Philin, and we really worked hard to save every precious life. I left the IAS taking voluntary retirement and joined the Biju Janata Dal to assist my mentor, Sri Naveen Patnaik. My only intent was to help him as anyone would do for his mentor or family. I would like to set straight certain perceptions and narratives. Perhaps it has been my shortcoming that I have not been able to effectively counter some of these political narratives at the right time. I reiterate that I came to politics to help my mentor Sri Naveen Patnaik ahead of the grueling elections, and I had no desire whatsoever for a specific political post or power. Therefore, I was neither a candidate nor was I holding any post in Biju Janata Dal. For the last 12 years, I have tried to work from early in the morning till midnight, keeping Odisha and Naveen Babu as my focus. Till today, the only property I have is what I inherited from my grandparents. I or my immediate family have no other property anywhere in the world. My property statement when I joined the Indian Administrative Service remains the same even today, after 24 years. The biggest earning in my lifetime has been the love and affection and the goodwill of people of Odisha. My intent of joining politics was only to assist Naveen Babu, and now consciously I decide to withdraw myself from active politics. I am sorry if I have hurt anyone in this journey. I am sorry if this campaign narrative against me has had a part to play with Biju Janata Dal's loss. I apologize to the entire Biju Parivar, including all the Karmis, for this. And my heartfelt gratitude to the lakhs and lakhs of Biju Parivar members whom I am associated with. I will always keep Odisha in the core of my heart and my Guru Naveen Babu in my breath, and pray to Lord Jagannath for their well-being and prosperity.
Kartikeya, we just heard what VK Pandian exactly had to say as he quit and he announces his retirement from active politics. How much of a role at this point would you say it played that, you know, the narrative around VK Pandian becoming a successor to Naveen Patnaik, even in fact after the press conference where he clearly spelled it out that he's not a successor? How much of it do you think it played in the BJT's loss there?
You know, elections are over. Naveen Patnaik was not the target. BJT targeted VK Pandian, and that is how their campaign ran. But I would say that he has shown some dignity under fire, courage under fire. Mr. Pandian, by resigning, has taken the fall for Naveen Babu. So Naveen Babu, who is the master of everything, you know, the entire government, he has, instead of he taking the fall, it is Mr. VK Pandian who has taken the fall. So I would say that's a very dignified thing which Mr. Pandian has done. And Mr. Pandian has paid the price of being a powerful number two at the time when his boss was very weak and vulnerable to attack. He has actually shielded his boss from the attacks. So that is one. But you know, in elections these things happen. Rahul Gandhi lost 3 consecutive Lok Sabha election, but then the third, which is 2024, he has also come out shining. So it happens, life gives people second chance. But in this case, the first round is over for VK Pandian. He has to call quits. Unless and until there's a popular surge, people call him back. But till then, Mr. Pandian will have to remain out of politics because he has to shield his boss, his mentor, Naveen Patnaik.
So, that way, definitely he's played quite a role of not just a close aide, but a second in command for the BJD, as well as to Mr. Naveen Patnaik, even after this loss, the way he has announced his retirement and from active politics. Definitely, Kartikeya, well, thank you for putting that into perspective for our viewers. And a big thank you to Suresh Kochetil as well for joining us on this broadcast. Well, this is a big news that's in fact come in today, while our focus has been on the swearing-in ceremony that will take place later. In terms of state politics, especially when we speak of Odisha, especially because Odisha has played such an important role in not just their own assembly election that we saw, the politics that played out there, but also in the Lok Sabha elections with the number of seats that we saw that the BJP got from there. Well, so with that, this particular announcement comes in to be extremely important in shaping the narratives in Odisha, the political narratives in Odisha. All eyes are still on who shall be replacing Naveen Patnaik and who shall be the next chief minister there. Again, questions that will be answered in a short while, in a few days. Right now, we've completely run out of time. Do stay tuned to News 9 Live as we come back with all the latest updates to the swearing-in ceremony that is slated to take place at the Rashtrapati Bhavan at 7:15 p.m. today. Thank you for watching.
Start with end in mind. You need to know where you want to reach. Every morning that we wake up, we are exercising our choice. The destiny